Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. As you can see, 90% completion. We're probably gonna finish this today. Part of me is a little bit sad. I really enjoyed it, but you know, I don't think it's a bad thing, because I don't think this game needed to add anything else. There's just always that little bittersweet feeling when you finish something that's really good. But anyway, there's still a little bit more to do. So let's go do that. So my goals here, there are a few feathers scattered about that I have not found yet. And yeah, alas, I can not use my cursor to point them out, but it's all good. So I left off in this very room because there was one in here somewhere. And I realized, you know, I probably wanted to save as much for today as possible. But because I get the feeling it won't take that long. Alrighty. So let's see here. Yeah, let's just go look for it. I don't know where it's gonna be. Right. You don't use WASD to move in this game. Okay, so yeah, it's not gonna be up there. That's gonna screen transition. But I'll go ahead and check the sky while it's convenient for me. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. I really do just look so happy. Okay, so I just gotta get over there real fast, and there it is. Yay. Alright. Do I want to teleport? You know, I think I do, actually. I think I'm gonna go finish off the pink area. I'm just gonna go zone by zone to keep things simple. So, yeah, there's a Fuego statue, like, diagonally from the dark pink area. So, I'll go grab that one. And I'll just go through each little thing. I still like this game a lot, by the way. But we'll see how 100% it treats me. But I kind of look forward to seeing what is behind that little door I saw at the end of last time. Okay, so here we are. Oh, we got some slingshots. Alright, that's probably where it is then. Since this is a relatively recent ability I have gained. Okay, no, I'm gonna try again. I, like, totally flubbed my jump there. Yep, there we go. No, let me up! This one, a little bit harder to control than the others. I think... Well, to be fair, it's also the most recent power-up I got. So... I just didn't have as much time to get used to it. It's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Okay, there we go. But sometimes it does feel a little bit wild. Alright, so let's see, where do we go from here? Well, that's all of the stuff in the pink area, so let's go get that one that I'm missing in the blue area. It's right there. So the closest Froggo statue is probably back at the beginning, I think? So I'll just waltz back there. Oh man, do I get to fling myself around? Oh no, it's not that room, never mind. There's just one room where you can get a lot of speed, and it's just... It's very fun to fling yourself around in that room. Alright, buddy. We're going up here. And we're not gonna talk to Cynthia, because nobody likes talking to Cynthia. Alright, here we go. Yeah, right there. So I'll head back up there and see what kind of thing is down there. Alright, those are spikes. Yeah, you know, that's kind of a problem. Okay, there we go. I did it right that time. Okay. So I need to head to the right and then up, and I guess I'll save just to get my health back. And I realize that I'm also missing a health thing, but that may not be on my Feather Finder map. So we'll see how I'm gonna be able to find that. Oh man, I've been kind of sniffly lately, and I thought that I had to sneeze for a second there, but it got caught in my nose again. I kind of hate it when that happens. It feels really, really awkward. Oh, so there's another feather in here, huh? Okay. Oh, okay. Is that a key? Kind of looks like one. Huh, so there's a key here. And like what? Did I just never see the door or something? You know, I could totally believe that. Bah. Okay, no. I don't want to get myself killed in a dumb way. So let's not do that. Okay, and then down. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I guess I saw the door here and walked past it. I don't know, I do stuff like that sometimes. I can believe it, actually. If I just saw it was a collectible and just wanted to move on to the next place. Yeah, that's plausible. Alright, so that's it for Blue Zone then. I was actually pretty thorough there. The Green Zone... Green Zone was a recent one, so I think I'll do that one last. Let's go do the brown one, since that's kind of an early game one, and... it's right there. Warm up a little bit. Okay, so what's the closest way to that top dot there? I think it might actually be easier to get there from the gallery. Well, maybe not. That's actually a pretty roundabout way, huh? No, no. I do think that the easiest path is going to be from the gallery, because then I can go down instead of up, and it's easier to go down than up. Okay. Wait, how do I get back? Because, yeah, that's right, I came here through a basically one-way path under those spikes right there, so I don't actually know how to get back. Oh god, do I have to go, like, all the way through to the boss room? Oh no! Alright, well, here goes nothing, I suppose. Let's see. I'll see if I can find another way back. Maybe there's a nice little way right down here or something. Maybe the game will be kind. Okay, game is kind. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm overestimating its kindness. Let's not jump to conclusions here. Okay, no. Game is kind. We're good. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Oh, wait, this isn't the way out. This is the way out. There we go. I just spent a lot of this morning thinking about a lot of things, so... I am maybe a little bit more absent-minded than usual. Alright. Alright, why am I wall jumping? I have a thing. There we go. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I want to go over to the gallery, I think, and I do think that this will be the easiest way to get back. And you know what? Even if he's very cynical, I'm still glad that the artist is having much success with his exhibition. I hope it makes him less cynical. Alrighty. So let's see, where do I need to go from here? Just to the right and then down. No problem. Okay. I even have a friendly worm I can use to skip things and fall directly into the water. I love falling in, like, a toxic sludge. I also love being able to say my words. You know, maybe I should have gotten the bird, but you know what? It's fine. Okay. So it's in here. Yes, it's in here. Oh, there it is. It's over there. Oh, I remember this one. That's gonna require... Ooh. Yeah, I remember this one, actually. I remember why I gave up. More importantly, oops, pain. I did not give up because pain, but it probably contributed. And then, yeah, it's really hard to get back once you're over here, so I'm probably gonna have to do that a lot. Okay, so basically I gotta fly up there real fast, and it's maze-like. I get the feeling I will explode a few times, but you know what? I can handle exploding a few times. I can handle it. I have much experience with exploding a bit in this game. Okay, it wasn't as bad as it looked. Or maybe I've just gotten better at flying. Okay, so from here... Yeah, we just go down to the other one there. I still think I'll do green zone last. Sounds good to me. Alright, so I need to head left, then down, and then right a bit. Oh, and then it even gave me a heal. How kind. Ooh. Where do you take me? Oh yeah, you can take me, like, all the way down. I don't think I want to go that far, though. Yeah, that's not where I want to go. I don't want to go here either. Oh shoot, now that I've been in here, I can't get out. How unfortunate. Okay, well... I better make the best of it. I forgot that this was just, you know, the path that was gonna let me out. But it looks like I can kinda get here, and that I'm still not that far away. I just have to go up. Which is slightly more annoying than going down, but only slightly, so I'll be okay. I want to go to the right. How do I get to the right from here? No, I don't know. Is it over here, or did I actually want to go back down? I don't remember what this room was. Okay, it's here. Okay, and now I'm at the room with the feather. Perfect. Okay, so that's gonna transition. And this is gonna transition. Okay. Ooh, so this is a very tiny room. Because I think this probably transitions to the next room, right? Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. Okay, there. Let's see. I don't think I can quite do that jump, even if I have a lot of speed. Oh, no, I can. Okay, cool. No problem, then. Look, momentum is very important in this game. If you really get going, you can go fast. And you can jump far. And it's really easy to underestimate that. Okay. So you see, I couldn't jump back because I didn't have the speed. I'm probably going to talk about that later, depending on how long it takes me to find the rest of the feathers. Because I was good, and I thought about what I actually want to talk about in regards to this game before stream this time. So this way, I'm not just kind of improvising the whole thing. What did you want again? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Alright. So I guess I'll head up to the Dead Mall now. Yes? Yes. Okay. So yeah, there's one in here. Okay, that transitions to the next room, so it's just somewhere in here. Makes me think it's further up there, but I cannot go up there because this will take me down, right? No. Okay. You'd think I'd have a better feel of where the screen actually does transition. Oh yeah, and I remember trying that. No, there's really no way to get up there. Okay. That's probably not where the feather is. So, I'll fly around until I see something, I suppose. Ooh, that looks promising, though. Alright, Mr. Longbird. Help me out here. That does look pretty promising. Oh, but I've already used my double jump and now I'm falling. Okay, but this still hasn't screen transitioned. Ow. Okay. I'm gonna use the buddy here to kind of help me go. Oh, okay. I totally messed that up, but it's okay. I think I will live if I am careful. Oh man, that's a big if though, isn't it? Okay, I'm okay. Oh, as well. Let's find a save point so I don't have to do that again. I think there's one up here. Is there one in this room? Oh no, I'm totally crazy. There's not one in this room. But there's one in the next room. So hopefully it's up at the top, and I can save that and get my heal before I do something stupid like jumping spikes. Phew. Okay. Let's see here. So I gotta go down. Fortunately, I don't think that'll be too much trouble. Going down it's pretty easy. God, I just love the way these guys, their necks move. It's fantastic. When they fly, it's very cute. Okay, so there's a feather in here somewhere. And we're firmly in the Death Factory. Alright. Is it down there? I don't see anything down there, and I also don't see a little slime guy to help me get around. So I'm gonna trust that I don't have to just walk into a pit of spikes right now, and I'm gonna keep going. Oh, tacos. Okay. No, I think I've been here, haven't I? Yeah, that's right. That's how you get down here, and I'm stuck, so I guess... I guess I'm down here now. You know what? Fair enough. Okay, but there's the feather. That was here. Oh yeah, I remember this room. I did that, but then I died trying to get out. I remember now. Where's the nearest save point? Oh, okay. So, I got that feather, and then there's another feather here. With a more challenging taco swing. Yes. Okay, I remember now. And then I was like, you know what? I'll do this later, since it's just for a feather. And I was just trying to find where I needed to go next. At the time. Okay. Okay, I remember. Okay. The taco swing, a little bit hard to control, I find it. But it is, honestly, oddly satisfying. And I am so dead. Oh no. Yeah, I shouldn't have tried to run away. But there you go. That's where I gotta go next. Okay. Yeah, I think I know exactly how to approach this. But there we go. I know where both the feathers in this area are. And then there's just the third one in the next room, and I'll try to save before then. But now I know the path, so I don't have to do a bunch of hunting. Okay. But you know, it's just what I was saying. Taco swing... I don't think it's uncontrollable. It's... Okay, so no, this was not the spot I was thinking of. Shoot. Maybe I should just die and go back. But we'll just run face first into as many spikes as possible. Okay. I'm thinking about... yeah, octopus controls. Out of all the power-ups, I do think it's probably the hardest one to control. But I don't think it's bad. It is very responsive. The part that I always have the hardest time with is just that it's not always immediately obvious to me which ring I will be going to. Like, when there's very few, there's no problem, right? I say that, I still have a few problems. It's fine. Just because you do swing yourself around very hard with it, it's very flingy. But I wouldn't say it's especially hard to control, and... but at the same time, it's like... you swing around really, really hard. And sometimes that can be a little bit challenging. Alright. I don't know what I'm trying to say, if I'm being honest. I did think about the controls of everything, and... I mean, you can see, I just flew through that, and it was fine. I don't think it's that hard to control. But I do find myself getting a little bit surprised and overwhelmed by it sometimes. And I don't know why. That's kind of my problem. So I'm not sure if some of it is just that I'm not used to it, because it's the newest power-up I got, and I am not always very good at physics-based things. Oh, hey, buddy. Okay, so no, you're just stuck forever. That's truly a terrible fate. Okay. And I kind of forgot what I was saying, but... I really don't think the controls are bad. It's entirely possible that I really am just not used to it, and if I used it more, then I would get used to it, and I would no longer have trouble. I don't know. Okay, well, let's find the feather in this room, and I'll stop fixating on control talk. I like talking about controls, though, and I mean, the controls of this game are quite good most of the time. The nodes sometimes don't quite do what I want. Okay, there we go. So that's where it was the whole time. Do I have a place to save? There is one in here. Did I already find it? I thought I can't remember. Where's the nearest teleporter? Oh man, there's really none especially close. I think the easiest one to get to is probably gonna be down here. Okay, I have to get up there. Man. Because, like, I want to fall down to get enough speed to get to where I want to go. But then sometimes it makes me latch onto the wrong one. Okay. Oops. Oh god, please don't let me just get myself killed in a dumb way. Okay, health. Yay. God, that entire thing is just so terrifying. I get the feeling as long as you move, you really can't fail as long as you keep moving, but man, does it feel like I am just going to die terribly every time I go through there. It's really, really nerve-wracking. Okay, I want to fall down. Alright, so from here... I'll just hop over to the gallery, And then I think all will be well. Okay. And then I think it's time for the green area. I think I've gotten all the rest. I'll double check. But I'm pretty sure I got all the things. So let's see what the last area has for us. Hey, do you have anything else to say? The show is going so well. I am so relieved. I was worried no one else would show up. I know that feel. I know it very well. Okay. So yeah, this has a pretty obvious entry point. And I have to do a lot of meandering before I'm gonna get anywhere, unfortunately. So let's see, I think I'm gonna go for the one below here first. What's this? Oh, okay, I see. Just teaching me about the slingshot. Wasn't there a worm right here, or is this just where I fought the boss? So this is a complete dead end. There is no Froggo statue in here. Or at least not one that I've discovered. Pain. Okay, well that's unfortunate. Let's see, then. Okay. I will have to find a different way in. Oh, wait. Can I use this? Where do you take me? Okay. So now I'm here. Okay, not the path I was expecting to take, but I think I can work with this. So I'll just head up the top then. Oops. Okay. Okay. I like this place, though. I like every place. The art direction in this game is fantastic. Guide definitely has a sense for it. I'm pretty sure this was a single developer project, and then, got a relative to do the music. So, I think that's pretty cool. That's kind of what looking at the credits implied to me, so... Alright, so I wanted to go up, right? No, I want to go to the right. Up is later. See, this is why I look at the map all the time. I forget where I'm going. Happens more than I like to admit. Okay, I guess this was the stump I was thinking of. And I thought that I could go into the stump a little while ago. But no, it was just this one. And music is just so nice. Oh, hey! I get to try this thing again. So there were some jumps in here that I never figured out how to do, just at all. And I get the feeling I'm still not gonna know how to do. Like this one, I still don't really know how to do this one. Because yeah, that doesn't get me enough distance. Bet jumping off the wall didn't either when I tried it. And I totally flubbed the jump there, but... Okay, I better just go. You know what? I don't know how to do the next jump either, so I'm gonna kill myself here. And I'll just respawn and try again. It's okay. Occasionally, the best option is just, you know, to die a little bit. It's okay. Nope. I still have no idea how to get through that. The jump is really, really long. And I don't really know how to get enough momentum, and I am just hitting all the spikes. I'll have some stuff to say about that later. But I'd like to do it when I am not worried about dying horribly, and I forgot to... Shoot. I forgot to use the treadmill. Okay. Life is hard, man. Yeah, and they're showing me I can build up a lot of momentum like that. But I don't see how I apply that here. Because I can't jump from, like, the right wall over to that little area on the left. Oh, hey, okay. I did it. I just have to be better, I guess. That's fine. Getting good is useful. And to be fair, last time I was playing pretty badly. Nope. Okay. Let's try that again. Yay! Alright. So from here I go... Oh no, I wanted to go up in the previous room. There's a way up in the previous room, huh? Okay. No, only one thing to do. Die. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna go look for the path. And, okay, so this is the room transition. And you know, I can use these to get higher up. If I jump on them before they fall completely. So there might be something there. I don't see any paths up here, though. I don't see anything here either. Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna look at the ceiling in each area. Oh wait, that's not how you do that. What am I doing? I'm looking too hard at other things. No, I don't see a way up here. It's okay, I might die a few times trying to ram my face out of the ceiling. Don't worry about it. Okay. I wanted to see if there was a path over there. There does not appear to be. Yeah, this game is normally pretty good at telegraphing its paths, so I shouldn't feel the need to rub my face on every wall. I do appreciate that aspect of this game's design a lot. That's kind of my least favorite thing about Metroidvanias, is that sometimes they really do just want you to rub your face on every wall and whack at everything, and it makes you look utterly schizophrenic. Like, huh, is there something here? What about here? And what about here? Okay. Maybe that top part. Over way on the right. There's also a longbird here. I might be able to do something with that. Okay. Okay, I have a thought. Oops, no, I need to run here. Oh shoot, I messed up my jump. Pain. So much pain. Okay. Okay, but that's a reasonable lead here. Wow, that's a way I've never messed up that jump before. Fascinating. I got caught. Oh, okay. I accidentally double jumped when I didn't mean to. But my fingers kind of spazzed out a little. It's fine. Personally, I find this little sequence to be one of the hardest parts of the game, which is why I wanted to save this area for last, when maybe I would have warmed up and reacclimated to the game's controls again. And you know what? I think it was worth. I'm playing much better. Okay, let's get through, so this way I can just send it all the way up. And then get me a longbird. Yeah. Oh, so that's where the last heart was. Nice. Okay. I am strong. I am as healthy as I will ever be. so there we go. You know, I was a little bit worried about that one, since I wasn't sure if it was going to be on the map. I was going to be a little bit nervous that it might have been in a room that I had already explored, and I just missed it somehow. But, no, there we go. I am good now. Okay. So now I just have to head to the right, and I am going to save on this side, so I do not have to do that rigmarole again. Unironically, I think that is probably the hardest room in the game. Okay. So there's a feather somewhere in here. I'm not sure where it's gonna be, so... Oh, it's just right there. Okay, cool. Phew, okay. It really just pops you right out of it, so... is there a way down over here? Do I want to go back this way? Or is this just a spiky pit of doom? Okay, just doom. Okay, I got it. Okay, well, I gotta walk through the doom. Okay. But it's alright. Because we have iframes in this universe! And I can use those to my advantage, and I'm quite good at doing it. Alrighty. You know, admittedly, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the speedrun of this game, because I think it's going to be fascinating. I tend to... I normally do it off-stream, but I do tend to watch the speedruns of the games I play, if I think that they'll be interesting. I haven't watched Afterimage speedrun yet, and I'm hitting every spike because I'm thinking about something else, but it's okay. I think it's an interesting topic. I do like watching how games are, you know, how people speedrun them. Because it's like taking every little bit of essence of the game and every little trick you can find and just everything about it and distilling it down to its simplest form. And I think it's just incredibly fascinating. Okay, so there's just a Froggo shrine here. There's no feather. Alright. In that case, I'd like to go back up. Cool. Alright. But yeah, I find them legitimately fascinating. And just the idea of breaking a game down to the minimum you need to do. The absolute minimum. And seeing just, you know, what that's like. And I forgot that I was trying to go fast. I'm a little bit afraid of dying. You know, maybe I should have taken the other path, so this way I could get to a save point, and I wouldn't have to be so afraid of dying. You know, I can still do that. It's not that far away. I'm still just thinking in terms of it's easier to go down than up. But there is a save in the next room here, and I might have some interest in that right now. Oh no, shoot. Okay. Okay, but it doesn't make you recollect. It doesn't make you recollect the... Or maybe it does. Anyway. Oh no, I can go whatever way I want. So yeah, when I tend to watch speedruns, it tends to be either be... I like to watch, you know, just your standard 90%, see what you can do, just how badly the game gets broken, how many cool bugs are found, and that kind of thing. Okay, I guess I'm going this way again. That's fine. I didn't see this room before. Let's do it better this time. See what cool bugs are found, and then I also sometimes like to watch the glitchless runs. Just depending. I say glitchless, but most of them... I'll say no major glitches. Yeah, that's the more accurate way to put it. Just, kind of get a feel for how the game would be played a little bit more normally, especially depending on the game. Hollow Knight speedrun is kind of a good example of that, because there's a weird glitch that basically lets you fly, and you can ignore, like, everything when you play the game like that, and it's a little bit unfortunate. And then there's others where it's not that different. Let's see, where do you go? Just, okay. Oh no, there it is. Cool. And then I also tend to really like watching the 100% playthroughs, depending on the game, because that's where you do all the things. Just all of them. Go after everything the game has to offer, and sometimes seeing that and what you have to do in order to 100% the game is really interesting. After Hollow Knight, I had so much more of a fascination with 100% in games. Just because it left something in me where where at the time I wasn't thinking about it that hard. But when I started thinking about it later, it just implanted an idea in me, and I haven't been able to shake that idea of just adding a bunch of extra stuff to games that may or may not be needed or may not be part of the core experience. And I clearly have no idea which way it will actually take me back up here. Oh man, is it even possible to get up from here? It might not be. Wouldn't that be unfortunate? Because I don't think I can get back up through that saw there. Okay, I'll head down. I don't want to die and lose the feather, so I'll work my way back up and around. I think I've lost my train of thought like 7 different times, but speedruns are cool, and they can teach you a lot about games. Even the ones that really abuse bugs. It's fascinating. I like it a lot. I still want to watch the speedrun for Afterimage at some point. Typically, I watch these things with my husband, and right now we've been playing Dyson Sphere Program. So, when we're in the middle of a game, we tend to... We tend to just play that a lot, and not watch stuff as often. But you know, someday we'll finish the game, and after that... well, we'll need new things to watch, and that'll probably be one of the things. Oh, I need the bird. Oh, you know what? I'll send it all the way up, just so I don't have to rush. Okay, that looks like a spot that might have a feather. I think this is the last one, too. Oh no, just a little slimy guy, huh? Okay. Well, there we go. Are there any more on the map here? 'Cause it looks like I've been to all the rooms, and it looks like I've gotten all the feathers. So I'm gonna head over to that spot. And, you know, see what I see. There was a gate that I had to go through. Well, okay. Oh man, -2. Pain. Okay. But, you know, I know where everything is. Where was it here? You know what? I kind of want to do the other room first if I can. Can I? Can I get up? I don't actually think I can. Man, so they just have a couple of one-way paths here. That's rough. Alright. Look, someday I'll get through that without getting hurt. It's fine. It'll be a great day. Huh. I could not fling myself properly. There we go. I think it was this way, and that I just had to kind of go up and around. Or down and around, as the case may be. I'm trying to think of games that had particularly interesting speedruns. But I can't actually think of stuff off the top of my head here. You know, all this is telling me that I just need to prepare some ideas ahead of time occasionally. But, I do think they're interesting, and I think that this has the potential to be a really interesting one. Depending on how buggy it ends up being. Just because it has really interesting movement, and games with really interesting movement tend to have really good speedruns. I think Ori and the Will of the Wisps had a pretty cool speedrun for that, because just watching them move through everything is just super satisfying. Watching people that are actually really, really good at that game just move through anything. It's something special. So I get the feeling that this game will be the same way. I think that's part of why I like this game's movement so much. I definitely feel like it has a very high skill ceiling. It doesn't... The game doesn't really ask you to do that much with it. I think that's okay. It doesn't need to be an especially hard game or anything. But I think if you wanted to make a particularly difficult game with this movement set, he probably could. And I think it would still be a lot of fun. I do. I think it has the potential to have a lot of cool gameplay depth and interesting things you can do. So, okay, and I'm gonna have to go up and around again, but that's okay. I have all the feathers, and now I have saved. Ooh, 99%. Did I miss one? Or is it just 99% because I haven't gone through the door? Well, let's go find out. There's a Froggo statue right there, and oh no, I see it. I missed one. Lower left corner there of the green zone. Okay. So, yeah, I just gotta head down. Very doable. Hey! I made it through. Nice. I do like to try to get through the obstacles without getting hit. I don't always succeed, and I won't make myself go back and do it again if the game's not going to make me, but I do like to try. I do think that this game is worth that little bit of extra effort. Almost, man. Because it's a really good game. I like it a lot. I'm glad I played it. Okay, so from here down... Okay. Surprisingly easy to miss those little white dots on the map. Oh. Okay. Just gotta fling myself well. There we go. Oh, is this not how you get up there? Oh, no, it is. Okay, cool. This game, it really was, it was really interesting. I think I'll save a lot of the commentary for when I'm not trying to navigate through spikes and I can kind of think through what I'm saying and all that stuff. But no, it was a really interesting game. We'll definitely be taking this what I learned here forward. Oops. Forward with me. So, and you know what? I can kind of demonstrate a little bit of what I mean when I talk about analyzing media you enjoy. When thinking about some of the stuff that this game did. Man. Okay, so this is a pretty big room. Okay, so we got tacos. Okay. No problem. I say as I run to the spike wheel, but you know what? No, still no problem. Oh, there's another one in here. I was gonna say, I thought it was weird that there's gonna be 24, and not like a nice round number. But if there's one more in here, then maybe there actually is just 25. That's a friendly little number. 25 is a good little number. Okay. Oh, and I even get a save. Nice. Alrighty. Oh. Okay. No, but now I'm in the next room. I don't want to be here. I need to be over here somewhere. No. I wanted the other one. There we go. Okay, well, I'm alive. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Alright, so where could this other feather be? Do I have to do something with the long bird? Because looking up in the air tends to be like the first thing I want to do. I don't think I can get back up there though, so I guess I'll just run face first into spikes. As you do. Huh. I don't know why I'm looking at the map, because the map is not going to help me at all. I just know that there's a feather here, and the map puts the mark in the same place every time. Okay, since I'm already walking in spikes, you know, let's just do it forever. I want to check the ceiling here. Okay, no. Ceiling, got nothing. No, that's good. Okay. But if that's how it is, then how do I get back up here? Can I get through there? I mean, I definitely have to walk face first in the spikes in order to even try. No, I can't get back up. Okay, so I gotta go around. That is unfortunate, but okay. So I gotta be real careful about going back up here, because once I do, I cannot go back. We'll see how easy it is. Okay, you know what? I actually will save here. So now I want to head to the right. Okay, and from there... up. Oh no. This... Oh wait, no, I don't want to go up. I want to go right. That's right, I haven't gone to the right yet. Where is the path to the right then? Because there apparently is one in here. But I remember that. Tried to do that jump to get up there. And it hurt my fingers. Because it was just like right on the edge of possible. Oh god, that is where I have to go, isn't it? No, it isn't, is it? Was up there just a feather at one point? Might be. Okay, well, I'll try the big jump again. Gotta focus to get the rhythm. Okay. No, I made it. We're good. But yeah, that jump is kind of a thing. You know, I would have had an easier time if I had just not tried. If I had just fallen down. Oh. I could not get up from here. Oh god. Then where am I supposed to go? Because yeah, I guess the game was expecting me to come this way. Ooh, boy. Alright, no, that was intentional, don't worry about it. So if I can't get around that way, then... I don't actually know where to go. Okay, let's try something that... Okay, I'm gonna try to go around the long way here. Let's see, how do I get up there? Because this is, I don't think is jumpable. Yeah, that's definitely not jumpable, so I can't go there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the boss room and use the Prago statue in there. This place is a maze to navigate. And also wants to kill me. Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and use the save, it's fine. Alright, and I'll just use the statue to get on over there. Okay, there we go, and I can just head right back there, and then from here I should just be able to go down and around. In theory. So that might be what I have to do if I ever mess up in that room, so I'll try not to mess up again. Because it's a little bit painful. Okay. So then from here... Yeah, I want to go to the left and then up. So we'll head left in theory. Okay, and now I head up. I like it when they make you chain your power-ups like that. It's really neat. Here we go. So then we wait here, and it's very nerve-wracking because my time as a cute slime is almost up. You know, I never checked in here. These, you know, look like little things I can go inside of. The game does this a little bit. So maybe the feather is just over here. It's kind of a pain, though. Here we go. Okay. Up. Up. There we go. Okay, so that is where it was. Okay, cool. And there we go. There's all of them. 100%. Heck yeah. All right. So it does end up on a nice even number. So let's head back up to the ceiling and see what is behind that door. I've been quite curious all this time, you know? I have been looking forward to all weekend to what might be back there. Okay, and there's my save. So now I won't lose the feathers, even if I die in a dumb way like that. Man, the slimes were like at the worst possible location, and I was too impatient to wait for them. It's fine. Okay, so the Froggo statue is just going to be up in the sawmill. See, at least here, it makes a little bit more sense than up in the Death Factory for why there might be pointy implements anywhere. I figure that, you know, maybe, especially since the path has been locked out for a long time, this is just a nice little abandoned place. And somehow, the machines have just gained the ability to get as much power as they want. Maybe they're solar powered, I don't know. But it's fine. Somehow they're just able to do that. Alright, path unlocked! Ooh. Wow, this must be a perma-bird attachment! With this on your shifter pack, you can turn into a bird whenever you want! Just hold down the transform button for 2 seconds while you're in your normal sheep form and you'll turn into a bird. It lasts for about a minute, but you can use it as much as you'd like. Just press the cancel button to turn back into Sheepo. Okay. So it just straight up lets you fly. Neat. Oh, hey, buddy. I am Sebron's local psychic. I can tell you your future. But first, you need to bring me some blank pictures. They've been scattered around Sebron. Oh ho. Oh god, so it wants me to go... just do a world tour? You know... when I came into the game today, I was going to talk about, hey, great job, you didn't put in any bloat. The experience is so tight and great. And then you give me a fetch quest like this, or you don't even mark it on the map, you just make me run through everything. Game, why you gotta be like this? I 100% of the game because I liked it, and I thought it was fun, not because I wanted more busy work. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Well, at least I have the ability to fly. So, we'll see how that all works out. I see, so is that telling me where they are? If it is, then I appreciate it. Because I know where each of those lighter places are. So we have the psychic, and then... okay. I take back what I said. They gave me a rough idea, so I don't have to just run through everything and beat my head against the wall. I kind of know where I'm going. Thank you, game. I love you still. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, let's go take a look around then. And I'll go collect the things. So I guess I get a little bit more collectathon. You know, we'll see if there's any more challenges locked behind it. I'm still a little bit ambivalent about the idea of just more random collectibles after everything. I didn't mind the feathers because they all had kind of interesting platforming challenges attached to them. So I'll see if it's the same here. Are you gonna give me some cool new things to do? Or is it a pure padding? Let's find out together. Man, look at all these cute little guys. They're so cute. Love the slimes. They're adorable. All the little creatures in this game are adorable, and I love them. Look at the logbird's derpy neck! Okay. I see, so there are probably just gonna be some mysterious areas where I felt like there might be stuff going on somewhere, but I couldn't figure out how to get to them. I don't remember where all those areas are, though. I need to... I am gonna take so much damage, man. It's fine, I'm alive. For now. I'll go try to find a save as quickly as possible. Okay, there's a save just in the previous room here. Or not this one, but... Oh, I'll even go save before I do the Frogo statue stuff, just because I don't know if I get myself killed in a dumb way, if it will reset everything, and I will lose my picture, and I will have to fly back up there to get it. Okay. Okay, good, and I can save as a bird. So, there's also one in the lower right. I only remember, like, the first two. I'm gonna have to go back up and check it again to remember where the other ones are. But that's okay. It's right next to a Frogo statue, so it works out. Okay, let's see. Is this one easier or is the other one? I think this one, just because of the terrain in the area, I think this one's actually going to be a little bit easier. Even though the path is a little bit longer, strictly speaking. I had 0 momentum, and the game does not like this. Okay. But not that way. Okay, I'm gonna have to try a little bit harder to avoid spikes. Alright, where do I go from here? So down... So right, down, left, down. Okay, so we're zigzagging. We're zigzagging. And see, it's no problem when I actually head right there instead of getting, distracted. Okay, let's see here. So now I head down and left. Oh, hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh, I can't talk to you. Okay. I was curious to see if he said anything different while I was here. Okay, so here? Yes. At least I think it was around here that I saw the glowing blue spot. Oh yeah, I kind of remember that, where I felt like there might be something over here. No, this was just a feather. Was it this room? Or was it a little further down? Because I guess it could have been that room at the bottom. I might be misremembering. I just knew it was over here. And actually thinking about it, I should make my life easier. And instead of redoing all the platforming stuff, even though it is a lot of fun, maybe I should fly around a bit. I don't know. The platforming is fun, so I might legitimately just do it all again. Because moving in this game is legitimately that fun. So I don't know, was it here? Oh god, do I not even remember the second one that I looked at? Well... it'd be in character, I suppose. My memory has honestly just not been great lately. Okay. So I was probably right the first time. And it's probably somewhere over here. Just maybe not the area that I thought it was. I mean, it does kind of have like a heat map. One moment. All is well, right? Yeah, okay. Okay. OBS was just telling me things. But no, seems like everything's okay. But yeah, it was just kind of a heat map. So I guess it's possible that it could just be around some of these other areas. Yeah, I remember that. I recall there being a feather up there. Okay. So no, I remembered correctly. It was just the room above there. Alright, fair enough. Let's head back up to the Froggo statue, and I'm gonna go take another look at where... Oh no, I didn't want to go this way. At where the next ones are. I'll do them in pairs, just because I don't trust myself to remember the rooms correctly otherwise. I guess I could screenshot it, but you know what, it's fine. Okay, can I just cheese it with flying? Normally I'd be nervous about getting to the red part here, but I think it's okay just because the transformation lasts so long that even being at a low percent there means that I still have a lot of time. Alright, here we go. Just bypassing all of the platforming. Okay, I can't bypass this one. Just because I can't go through dirt as a bird. Birds, they prefer to be in the air. They do not eat dirt. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, so it doesn't continue through screen transitions. But I still talk to people as a derpy bird. Hey, buddy. I predict you will arrive at Adamus, the planet of ice. You will collect 2 new creatures, Snow Bunny and Fluffbird. And that's all I have so far. Bring me pictures and I'll tell you more. Yeah, it wasn't... You know, now that I think about it, I think some people talked about another game like this when I was going around the internet looking for recommendations. So, you know what? If they made a second game, I will probably go play it at some point. So let's see. It's kind of on the top areas of the map. Okay. I can remember that. The highest points. Alright, here we go. So, yeah, there's even a little Froggo statue in there. So probably somewhere around here. Man. Fake ceiling. Fascinating. Alright, I'll fly around up here until I can't fly around up here anymore. Okay, so we got a wall over there. And I'll just see what's up in this lovely little gray sky. I know people don't normally describe gray skies as lovely, but I mean, look at this one. It's really pretty. Got friendly little clouds. I don't know, I just really like the use of gradients in the game. It's really cool. Just kinda keeps things simple, but adds some color variation, and it's kind of, a lot of the time, done in a way that you don't really notice it. Until it, like, changes color strongly, like here, for example, where it goes from the gray to the blue. Oh. Oh, hey. Man. I kind of remember that spot, actually. Let's see. Froggo statue, yeah, it's just up here again. So I'll head over to the gallery, and then fly all the way up. So yeah, they just hid these things in random places you gotta fly to. You know what? Fair enough. Alright, let's get up there. But yeah, if there is a sequel, I will play it. I will definitely play it. I already have the next game picked out. I'll finally be playing Ender Magnolia. I played Ender Lilies a while back, and I thought it was pretty good. So I've been kind of looking forward to seeing the sequel. I'm curious to see how they expanded on things from the original. But, you know, after that, maybe I'll play the next one of this. Sounds pretty good to me. So we get to explore an ice planet, huh? Oh man. Okay, and I think I actually remember where the last one is too. And man, look how long the neck is. Whee! And then when you flap, just shortens right back up. It's so silly. The animals in this game are so cute. I love them. They really do just look incredibly pettable. And I just want to hug them. Let's see. Alright, so the Froggo statue's in here, and I remember this one being at the bottom of the world. So yeah, it looks like they put a statue pretty close by. So let's head over there. I'm just gonna fly. My fingers are getting a little bit tired from all the tapping, though. Okay. So then I head down, right? Sure do. Here we go. Do I get down from here? No. Okay. Oh no, it's even easier. Just down here. Oh no, I didn't want to get into that. I just want to be a bird. All right. So at the bottom here, huh? So here? I am a little surprised. So it's probably not in here. Probably not in there, but maybe one of these adjacent rooms, because they were just kind of heat maps. In fact, maybe it was in the Froggo room, actually. Okay. I will take a look around. And I'll just stay a bird and rub my face on the ceiling, because that's kind of where they're putting things. Alrighty, yeah, not in here. It is true, they were just kind of heat maps. So it could also be in this room, but I kind of want to check the Froggo room here, because this one is really spacious. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. So let's see. What does our psychic friend have to say now that I've gotten all the pictures? I predict you will arrive at Atmos, the planet of ice. You will collect 2 new creatures, a snow bunny and a fluffbird. After returning to your ship, you'll notice it has been frozen in a block of ice. But do not worry, Cynthia will make an important phone call and help arrives. For all their help, you'll even let them tag along on your future adventures. Okay, so is it just kind of an epilogue? That's cute. Okay. Alright, well, that appears to be everything, so I guess all that's left is to go blast off, and I guess we will arrive at the planet of ice. Unless, you know, that's actually part of the game there. Will we get to see this planet of ice? Looks like we have anything. Are you ready to leave? You know, part of me always wants to say no, but no. I mean, yes, that game was excellent. And I'm glad I played it. And I think if it put any more in there, it only served to make the game worse. So, yeah, I'm ready to go. You're welcome, little animals. I'll kidnap your babies any day. Oh man. I love those. I love the little birds. They're just so derpy. They're so cute. And I guess with everything going the way it is, he'll have many new bones to look at. There's upsides to everything. Oh man, did someone else get stuck in Deadwood? He has a friend now. Very cute. And they're not afraid of the bug anymore. He looks so happy. Look at that derpy smile. I didn't realize he had more teeth besides the pincers. His next art exhibition. Looks like they're learning to dance quite well, but I mean, to be fair, Frogos were already pretty good at dancing. I liked watching their dance. It was very cute. And Sheepo gets a nice rest. Very appropriate, too. He was running around doing a lot. Must have been tiring. Running around like that. Oh, good. And it's not going to make me go to the credits on the main menu. They're just going to play the credits here. So, I mean, I kind of gave my thoughts on the game already. It's quite good. The movement is excellent. It's very satisfying just to move around. And I think that's actually really, really important for a Metroidvania. They're largely based around going to places. So, making sure that moving around feels really good. And I mean, Yoku's Island Express kind of showed that you don't necessarily have to do platforming type movement as long as the movement itself is pretty fun. Is the music just gonna stop? I'll probably go back into the game just to have some background music here. But yeah, I mean, oh no, it did come back this time. Heck yeah. But yeah, I mean, Yoku's Island Express showed us that the movement doesn't have to be traditional platforming, but it is really important that just moving around is a good time. And this game absolutely nailed that. And I complained a little bit at the end because I didn't like where it was going with that little bit of extra, but you know what? I think it was fine. I think I jumped the gun a little bit there. It was fine. Okay, I should collect my thoughts a little bit here. One problem that I think a lot of modern games have, not just AAA stuff, but I think it's true of a lot of games too. I felt it hard in Animal Well, for example, is that they want to maybe put more stuff than necessary into the game. And it kind of ends up bloating the experience. But I never really got that impression here, that the experience here is very, very tight, very cohesive. And I don't... I get the feeling that when the developer ran out of ideas for what they wanted to do, they didn't feel the need to stretch things out. They didn't feel the need to just force more stuff in to extend playtime or anything like that. It was just a very cohesive experience. Every room had a purpose. Every feather was enjoyable to collect. Each of them had their own little challenge associated with it, and, you know, it was great. And with a lot of games nowadays, I feel like they have to, quote unquote, give you your money's worth. And they, for some reason, just don't trust that the game itself will be sufficient. That it has to meet a certain number of play hours before that happens. And I mean, you can look here. It looks like my time here is about 6 hours. Not a long game. But everything that I did in this game had a purpose. Everything had a challenge associated with it. Every boss was different. I mean, we can just look at what you had to do for each boss. The first one, the bird. That was kind of an introduction. And you had this very upset mama bird just making you go up this long room to her perch where the egg was. And all the while she was spewing bullets everywhere. And I don't get the impression that they were meant to be dodged. You were supposed to make your way up quickly and then get to the next wall where you would be safe. And then you just go up there and there was like a lever at the top or something, and that ended the fight. The second one I did was the dead worm. And that one, you could not actually fight it. You just had to survive. And it was all about timing your movement in such a way that you could stay alive, more or less. Because, I mean, if you were too chaotic, moving around too chaotically in the first part, you'd run out of floor. If you moved around too chaotically in the second part, with the water spouts, you would just fly off into space and, you know, land in the death water and die. And, well, you'd have, you know, fail the challenge. So that was all about moving around. The third one I fought, I believe that was the slime. That one was about dodging the bullets. And as the fight went on, the space got more and more enclosed, so you had less and less space to dodge the bullets. And one of the way that you hurt the boss was actually also by dodging the bullets quite in the correct way. It would eventually spit out a big slime ball, and you had to aim that back up at the boss and hurt the boss that way. The fourth one was the Froggo King, this is another bullet dodging one, so probably the closest, but it still felt very different from the slime boss. Because rather than enclosing the space, it added more bullets, so it just made the pattern itself harder to dodge. And this is all the while having to dodge the Froggo King itself, whereas with the Slime Queen, she didn't have a hitbox, so you could run right into her. Whereas with the Froggo King, part of the idea was that you had to avoid him too. So everything there was just a death, as opposed to just slowly encasing you in slime. So they still felt pretty different to me, and the patterns were also wildly different, and Froggo King had lots of different ones. Next, I think, was the Slingo Troop, and that was another survival one, but it was very different from the Dead Worm in terms of just surviving, because in order to survive in the Dead Worm, it was about controlling your movement, moving very little, and making sure that you just had firm control over what you were doing, and controlling where the boss went, since it would aim right for you. In this one, the Slingo Troop they would go where they wanted to go, and you had to avoid them. And furthermore, the platforms that you were on, standing on them pushed them into the sawmill even harder, so they'd get shorter and shorter and shorter. And the platforms that you had to jump on next were getting higher and higher and higher. So standing on a platform too long was dangerous. You had to really be thinking ahead. And figure out how you were going to get to the next thing while dodging the Slingo, so it felt very different. And so that's what that one was about. And then, finally, you had a second one where you were just kind of running away, and that would be the bug. So, with the mama bird, you were going up and just finding good places to hide. With the bug, you were just trying to get the heck out of there as quickly as possible. And it was all about just being fast. Because if you weren't fast, the bug would catch up to you. So it was a very interesting platforming challenge. I don't think there were even any bullets there. And you just had to get the heck out of there. Otherwise, you would have a very bad time and probably get munched. So each boss was very different. None of them felt even remotely similar. And I guess if you want to consider it a quote-unquote mini-boss to get the fake gum egg, you had to go through each power-up and tightly control your movement in order to be able to fill in all the dots fast enough. So I can consider that kind of a mini-boss challenge. And that was pretty interesting too, of having to get the essence of the movement down very quickly. Yeah. So, you know, each challenge was very different, and then as you go through each area, they all kind of had their own identity. You had a lot of stuff with flinging, and like the landing was just, you know, fairly basic, introducing you to the game. And then you go over to the wasteland, and suddenly you've got this whole area filled with death water, and you have to use water to fling yourself around and all that. And then you go over to the Dead Mall and Upper Landing, and you're getting a lot of vertical challenges. And then you get a lot of what I think is essentially enemy dodging with the Death Factory. And that'll take you down to the slime boss. And then after that, what was after that? Froggo King? Yeah, you go down into the Underdark, and there's lots of worm-based challenges where you had to go underground, and some of them were very uncomfortable because you had to make sure that you didn't run out of worm. And then there were some where you had to kind of fling yourself as a worm properly in order to get to where you needed to go. And it was all very interesting. And let's see, after that, what was after Froggo King? Yeah, that would be Deadwood, which, you know, had a lot of spike-based things where you were flinging yourself around. It had those timed gates, and, you know, that entire area is just kind of terrifying, and lots of one-way paths where navigating it was definitely the hardest. And then, I guess as an aside, we had the gallery, which didn't really have any enemies or anything, but had a lot of places to fling yourself as an octopus. That was probably the place that made the most use of that. So, you know, each of them kind of had their own thing. They were all very visually distinct as well, which I think is important for a Metroidvania. You want going to each place to feel like an interesting discovery and make you curious about what else is there. And I think the game did that pretty well. And I was honestly pretty happy to play a more platform and movement-based one as opposed to the more combat-focused ones that I've been doing lately. With the success of Hollow Knight, I think that the current Metroidvania, I guess, meta is more Hollow Knight adjacent. But I do hope that games like, you know, this and Ori and the Will of the Wisps and other similar games will bring some more of the platforming types back. Because I honestly think when it comes to Metroidvanias, I kind of prefer that. Just personal taste. I like flinging myself around, and I think movement is the most important thing in a Metroidvania. It has to feel good to go places. And when your movement feels good, you'll be even more inclined to just want to go see new places and try new things. So, that opinion I think is debatable. I don't blame people for thinking that maybe combat is more important, but for me, I do think that the movement is the most important part, and a lot of combat-focused ones, because in order to make combat feel good, you have to have really tight controls. Like in Hollow Knight, you have... When you hit the dash button, you know exactly how far you're going to move. When you hit the jump button, you know exactly how high you're going to jump. I think Hollow Knight might be one where if you hold down the button a little longer, you go a little bit higher. But for the most part, you know, it's all very, very controlled. And you have to have that for combat focus. Because if you don't know exactly how you're going to move, it's going to be real frustrating to do anything combat related. You got to have that tightness there. But when you have a lot of platforming challenges, you have a lot of freedom in how the movement is going to work. Because, well, I mean, you get to fling yourself. And as long as it's not like super precision platforming, like, say, Celeste, or especially late game Celeste, then, yeah, I mean, you can make things super floaty, and it'll be fine. You only need to give players enough control for what you expect them to do. That's a really insulting way to think about the way the movement in this game was, though. I did have a little bit of trouble controlling Takodachi sometimes. Actually, I'd go as far as to say that the only time I really had trouble controlling movement was when I was, 1, getting used to a new ability, which is just kind of a given. And 2, when there were multiple nodes that I could latch onto. This was true for those blue squares that fling you around, and it was true for the Takodachis as well. When there were multiple nodes that I could potentially fling myself from, sometimes I'd have a little bit of trouble predicting which ones I was going to go to. And, you know, that's about it, really. Everything else was very easy to follow. But at the same time, I'm not sure if this type of movement would hold up in Celeste Muncher tunnels. I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think Muncher tunnels are terrible to begin with, and that level of precision just doesn't allow for a lot of interesting creativity and skill expression. You just have to get the muscle memory. Whereas here, maybe you don't require that level of precision, so you don't need to rely on the muscle memory. But it means that I have all kinds of ways I can fling myself around and have a good time. So, I do say that you only need as much precision as the game demands. Sounds a little bit more insulting than I intend to. But I swear, all I mean is that you don't need muscle memory, not that the game is impossible to predict. It's just that it does not expect you to be pixel perfect. And therefore its movement also does not need to be pixel perfect. Yeah. And I remember... Okay, this is kind of going back to Bloat. But when I was playing Afterimage, I mean, with how I talk about Afterimage sometimes, I swear I make it sound like not a very good game, but no, it was an excellent game. It just, maybe overstayed its welcome a little bit. Especially for some of those quests I was wrapping up at the end. Like, I just feel like it was unnecessary, because the game was good as it was. It didn't need extra stuff. And I just continue to be very glad that this game did not put in any extra stuff. And you notice, I'm gonna actually go back into my file here. Did I click off somewhere? Okay, whatever. And look at this map. It's not very large. I prefer this map. I do. I liked having all the room to explore in Afterimage. Like, that was nice. But after a while, they started kind of repeating challenges. And I think that, you know, I just did that long spiel on each boss in this game. But I can't quite do the same with Afterimage. There were a lot. But only a few of them really stuck in my head. And that's because a lot of them had repeated kind of challenges that ended up being largely the same. The best example I can think of is in the first time I went to Scorchware, it was in the jungle, and there is this kind of deer boss that ran around a lot. And that was really new. That was the first time I had seen a boss like that. All the other ones were much more stationary and largely based around your dodge, as opposed to, having to chase them around and wanted to stay a little bit more long distance and stuff like that. And I thought that was cool. Like, that was different. And then the next boss I fought did the same thing. This one was in the air, so that was slightly different, but it was still doing roughly the same thing. And then the one after that did it as well. So every boss after that just required a lot more movement. And, eventually it did go back to kind of playing with around the dodge. And that's fine too. But it just started kind of repeating challenges. And I feel like a lot of the map of After Image did that as well. Where, even though it was quite large, it got a little bit repetitive sometimes. And I did not actually feel like each area had its own kind of movement gimmick. Some of them did. Some of them definitely did. And overall, I do feel like the game was very well put together. But I do feel like if they reduced the size of their map by about 25%, tightened up all of the kind of challenges that they want you to do, and gave them each their own very specific identity, it might have been a little bit better. And, I can kind of demonstrate what I mean here, because that's exactly what this game did. I just went through each of them and said what they did and why I found it interesting. And here, even the collectibles did the same thing. Each feather had a neat little platforming challenge associated with it, or, at least made you kind of look around each area to try to find it. And I don't think that's true of collectibles in a lot of games. They just put it there because, it's what you do. Like, oh, you're not going to have collectibles in this game? No, what? It's just what you do. But here, they were used as... Let me go to a place with music. It was used for a very specific purpose. And that was to, add actual, gameplay to your collectathon. So I actually rather enjoyed going through this one. And speaking of the collectathon, I do want to talk about the pictures. I figure I should talk about those explicitly now that I've had a chance to think about it. I did jump the gun. I was a little bit concerned when I was just like, oh god, you're gonna make me run through the entire dang map here. And I know yours isn't huge, but come on, man. Fortunately, they did tell you where they are, or at least gave you a heat map for where to look. So that made it pretty okay, actually, and it all felt pretty all right. And the additional information that it gave you, I actually think is a very appropriate reward to give to your most dedicated players. They gave an epilogue. They gave more information about the world that you were just spending so much time enjoying. It was, not exactly a little Easter egg or something, but kind of adjacent. And I thought that was good. So I was a little bit worried that it was going to feel extraneous, but no, it ended up being fine. Just, a quick little romp through everything. And yeah, it was a good time. Let me see. There's a specific place I want to walk to. I actually think this one might be closer. So, I wanted to talk about movement in video games. Probably Metroidvania specifically. And I wanted to talk about the movement in this game and kind of compare it to Hollow Knight a little bit, because I feel like Hollow Knight is on the opposite end of the spectrum. I talked about it a little bit, but I don't feel like I demonstrated it. So, I want to go to a specific spot. I think it's over here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Bear with me. I will get to my explanation. And you know what? I'm even gonna walk, because, you know what? It is that fun. They gave me the power to fly everywhere, and I'm not using it. That just goes to show how solid it all is. I thought it was over here. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. Alrighty. Well, give me just a moment. I guess I'll start talking about it. Basically, I've said before that this game, the movement is heavily based on momentum. Meaning you want to speed up. So other games that use this kind of movement would be like Sonic the Hedgehog versus Mario. Mario has a little bit of momentum, but not exactly a whole lot. Sonic the Hedgehog is a game that relies heavily on momentum, and this is the room I wanted to get to. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. But Sonic is a game that relies heavily on momentum. So I'm gonna go through this 2 different ways now. Because this room, I had so much fun fingering myself through this room. Okay, so I'm gonna go and try not to fling myself around as much as possible. I'm not gonna try to gather any momentum. I'm just gonna walk. Okay, so we're walking. I'm gonna stop at each platform, and that's what happens when you do that. Now I'm gonna kill myself so I can demonstrate just how freaking cool momentum-based stuff can be, and how high I think the skill ceiling of this game is. Now, I have done this many times, so if you've been watching the series, you probably already know what I'm gonna be doing here. Okay, I flubbed it up, but that is momentum. I skipped, like, everything here. So now I'm gonna do another thing. I'm gonna stop at the edge here, and then I'm gonna jump. And that's about as far as I get. So now, let's go get some momentum in that same spot. And this is what you're able to do. So let's run as fast as I can. I can get all the way over there. So that's the difference that momentum makes. So if I just jump from here, I'm going to hold down the button the same amount of time. Yeah. So you can see that momentum makes a huge difference here. It does speed you up considerably. It lets you do lots of cool things, and it allows for really interesting skill expression, I think. And I just wanted to demonstrate it very, very, very clearly of what this game expects you to do. And that's why I also say things like, oh no, I tried to change directions in midair, or this game does not want you to change your mind, because it relies heavily, heavily, heavily on that momentum. And that's why I wanted to contrast it with something like Hollow Knight, because the movement in that is very controlled, very specific, because it revolves around combat. And here, there is no combat. There is no combat in Sheepo. You just dodge things. And even with the bosses, the closest thing to combat, it's largely about dodging things until either the fight ends or you're able to launch a projectile at it or something. Use its own weapons against it. But for the most part, you know, it's basically just all platforming challenges. So Sheepo did not have that constraint, and so it was able to do a different kind of thing. And man, do you feel cool when you can just fling yourself around like that. I love it so much. Love it. That's why I really hope that more games take this route. And you can bet that if I ever make a Metroidvania, if the Factorio Metroidvania combo that my husband and I are working on reaches fruition, you can bet it's going to be like that, because that's what I like. I think it suits what we're going for anyway. Lots and lots of derping around. Anyway. So I wanted to, you know, demonstrate that fully. I've already kind of talked about different kinds of movements in Metroidvanias, but this kind is my favorite. And, I mean, you know, it makes sense given my taste here, where I think movement is more important than combat, because you want to be able to move through the world and have a good time. And I think being able to move through the world encourages you to explore the world further, and it's all very interesting like that. So, that is why a lot of, you know, my personal taste revolves around, okay, because OBS is okay. Alright, you know, occasionally it is just kind of going in and... OBS is concerning me sometimes. Anyway, but it looks like I'm okay. I figured I'd just wait a second, make sure nothing was happening, and that there were no shenanigans, but it looks like I'm okay. So, anyway, there we go. I actually took some notes before stream today because this game was good and I wanted to make sure that I talked about everything, so... Okay. Yes. Yeah, so... I think I've largely hit the pros and cons of this movement. It's a little bit less controlled, but man, can you be cool as hell. But for something that is very, very combat-focused, I do think that you do need the tighter controls. Hollow Knight made the absolute right choice for what it wanted to accomplish. And I do not doubt that at all. But of course, you know, having floaty movement like this doesn't mean that you can have that you can't have combat. Ori and the Will of the Wisps has movement probably even more floaty and flingy than this, and it had combat. This game just chose not to have combat because it didn't want it. And you know what? Valid choice. And one that I'm okay with. I had a great time. There's nothing wrong with being a platformer. There's also nothing wrong with putting in enemies. Just depends on what you want to do. Alright, and... yeah, I think that's actually a good lead-in to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Because this was especially prevalent for me when I was going through Deadwood. The area with all the trees and the buzzsaws. And something that this game doesn't do, that a lot of games do, and that Hollow Knight did, is when you jump in spikes, it would teleport you back to the nearest edge, basically. This game just lets you tank through it and use your iframes to just run like hell. And I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's fine for this game specifically, but it definitely has some it definitely has some negatives. Because in games like Hollow Knight, After Image, and other games that when you hit spikes, it just sends you back, is that when you are coming across a spike-based challenge, you have to know how to actually get through them. The game is saying, hey, you have the tools to get through this. Or, you know, being a Metroidvania, you might have to find it, but eventually you will have the tools to get through this. You can do it. Keep trying until you do. Keep trying until you figure out how to actually accomplish this challenge. Whereas in Sheepo, I mean, this was especially prevalent to me last episode, where I was playing really badly, because chat was very active and I was a little distracted. No shame. I love it when chat is active. But I felt it, and I was like, you know, I even said it at the start of this stream when I was going through Deadwood to collect the last few feathers. I still have no idea how to get through certain parts of Deadwood without hitting spikes. I could not do it. But the game said that was okay. You didn't have to know how to fully do that challenge. And that's why I say there are pros and cons to that. Because in the Hollow Knight method, you do have to complete that challenge. You do have to complete that. You do have to get good enough. You do have to refine your skills and actually learn how to do the platforming. Whereas in Sheepo here, I really didn't have to do that. I just had to do it well enough that I didn't run out of HP. I think there's... I think both are valid approaches. But I gotta admit, on some level, I almost feel a little bit bad that I never had to do any of that. That I didn't have to learn how to get through all of those spike rooms. That I didn't have to learn how to jump over all the buzzsaws. Or all of the things that would pound the ground in the Death Factory. Or that I never quite figure it out how to get through some of the smashers in Deadwood in the sawmill. I mess those up basically every single time. And I think it's a little bit sad. But I also kind of understand the choice that the developer was making. It made the game a little bit easier. So I guess it just depends on what kind of challenges you want to go for. And this is one of those decisions that maybe seems minor, but I think it's worth explicitly thinking about. Of just, what do you want your players to actually be able to do? Do you want your players to be able to walk through spikes? Do you want them to be able to run through the lava? Maybe. Do you want them to actually have to figure out how to do all of your platforming challenges, or do you want to give them a little bit more wiggle room to get through, where, you know, they don't really have to know, but they just kind of have to figure it out well enough. You know, maybe. I think this is kind of true when it comes to all art, in that I think every little thing that you make is a choice. Sometimes you're thinking about it, sometimes you're not, and I think your art will get better as you bring more conscious thought, conscious decision-making into everything that you do. And frankly, I think it's probably true of life as well, where the more you're not on autopilot and just kind of rolling with everything that you need to do, the better and the more that you realize that you're doing, the more aware that you are of your goals, the better choices you can make, and the better everything you do will end up. So, I actually do think that a lot of figuring out what to do, both artistically and in life, is just understanding that everything is a choice and trying to align where you're going and what you want to do, you know, together, and make that choice that way. And it's really hard to do that when you're not thinking about what you're doing. So, you know, put thought into everything you do. It'll be great. It will. It'll help a lot. Don't just do things because it's what you do. Do things because you have a reason to do so. I'm dealing with that a lot right now. Because, I mean, when I started streaming, I didn't really know what to expect, and I just kind of made some stuff because it's what you do. But now that I've done it for a little while longer, I'm starting to be able to bring some of those choices to the forefront. And I gotta let it figure out. A lot. It's very overwhelming. But you know, I'm trying to think. I remember when I started streaming, it's just because, you know, I wanted to learn how to do some animation stuff, and live 2D style animations were common in like certain game portraits and stuff. And at the time I was playing a lot of Arknights, and I saw what they were able to do with live 2D in their limited units, and I thought it was wonderful, and I wanted to do it too. So I started looking through live 2D tutorials and whatnot, and I use a live 2D alternative called Inochi 2D, but you know, the idea is the same. And all the live 2D tutorials were basically around making VTuber models, so I was like, you know what, why not? Let's give it a try. And I just started streaming drawing stuff when I was gonna draw stuff anyway. And I wasn't really thinking about it because I didn't think anyone was gonna come and show up. I just wanted to see if I liked it. And turns out I did, so later I started kind of trying to expand there. And I brought in the video games, but it wasn't necessarily just because video games is what you do when you're a VTuber. I mean, you can see, I still only do a little bit of video game content. But it's because I actually like games. I went to school for game design. I did not go to art school or anything. I'm totally self-taught. And I am actually a programmer by trade. I just like drawing. So, even though, you know, sometimes you still just do things because it's what you do, you can still kind of align it with what you like and what you're thinking about. And for me, that was still a lot of game design, and that's why I like talking about the game design of the games I play. Always. So, you know, I don't actually mind when I finish the game with a bunch of extra time like this, because it means I get to ramble about game design, and that's, like, a great time. Maybe I'll ramble about game design more in art streams, too. I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like I have to get going. And actually playing the game and talking about the game makes it a hell of a lot easier to get going. So, that actually was not me just bringing in games because it's what you do. I had reasons. And now, I'm trying to find reasons for the rest of my content beyond, you know, I just really like drawing stuff. What do I want to do with this whole stream? What kind of experience should it be? I don't know yet. I'm working on it. That's why I say next year's gonna be very exciting. That's largely the topics I wanted to talk about for this game specifically. So, I don't know, if any of you have questions, you know, feel free to just send them there, but otherwise, I don't know, what are some other things that have been on my mind lately? I talked a little bit about why I like Metroidvanias. I guess I can go on them and just why I've been playing them lately. Legit, I think it's probably my favorite subgenre of games, just in general, but there's actually a little bit more to it than that. And this has been true for every game that I have picked since starting this channel. It's either been a game that I've been curious about, or a game that is adjacent to something that I'm kind of interested in making. So, I can't remember what exactly my husband and I were planning, but there was a period of time where I was going through a bunch of procedurally generated games. No, I actually do think it was the Factory Metroidvania that we're planning. Yeah, I do think it was. Because one of our original conceptions there was that, you know, maybe we could try procedurally generating it. And so I looked at some of the procedurally generated Metroidvania adjacent stuff in Dead Cells and Spelunky. Unfortunately, Dead Cells required skills that I do not have. But I played those specifically because I wanted to look at what they did and how they made use of the mechanics. And that's exactly why I'm still playing a lot of Metroidvanias. My husband and I play factory games off stream. Maybe I'll play some factory games on stream, who knows? But frankly, you know, we've been wanting to play those together off stream, so I just haven't felt the need to do it on stream. So I've been focusing on the other half, the Metroidvania half, and also I like Metroidvanias, so it makes sense for me to play them to death on stream. And I have learned quite a lot. Yeah, that's right, I also wanted to talk about analyzing games for, you know, doing your own thing. It's okay. I'm still just gonna go over some other stuff there. I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, yeah, so by playing these games and thinking about them critically, I am able to then take some of those ideas and bring them into my own things. And I do the same thing with drawing. And I guess my tangent has gone here instead of why I like Metroidvania, so I'll do it now. Lately, when I have some extra time on my computer while watching kids, because, you know, sometimes they're kind of needy for attention, and they don't give me enough time to really get into, like, drawing or something, I'll just go on Pixiv, check the top 100 daily, or weekly or monthly, or whatever I feel like doing, and then I click on all of the illustrations that manage to catch my attention and captivate me somehow. And then I go over and I look at them, and I think about why. And then I zoom in, and I look at every little detail, and every little thing that they tried to do, from, you know, color use, composition, just the way the character looks, where they're placed, and everything I can think of. And I ask myself, what do I like about this illustration? What do I think? Why did I decide to click on this one and not some of the other ones? Because, I mean, even when I go through the top 100, typically I only click on about 30 of them or so. So that's a lot that I did not click on. So what made me like this one more than this one? And why did I click on this one, but not this one? And that kind of thing, I do think, helps. Just really analyzing things and why you like them. And to an extent, why you might dislike something. If you find that you don't like something, or if you're playing a game or looking at art that you think is bad, like, why is it bad? Why is it not working for you? What did it do wrong? What could it do better? And I think that is very, very useful for making things on your own. It just, you know, doing more of what I was just talking about, of bringing some of those subconscious decisions to the forefront and understanding the problem. Or, you know, what is the vision, where you want to be going, what works for you and what doesn't. And I mean, with some things, I like things that I don't necessarily want to make myself. One good example of that is an artist I like called Pin. I like his art a lot, but I would never want to draw like him. And I just really, really love his line work. He's very line work heavy, and it is beautiful, and I love looking at it. But I don't really have much interest in doing it myself. So I still analyze it. I still pick out what I like. I still understand why I like it. But I don't necessarily have to do it myself. And there's also been a couple of other just creative things that I enjoy. Or maybe I won't analyze it quite as hard because I'm not really interested in doing it. But I can still appreciate it. And I can still analyze it a little to bring it into my own work. And some of that, for example, would be music. I'm not super interested in composing. I have some mild interest in learning how to sing, but I'm not really in composing. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll change my mind. I've got a lot going on, so that might be part of why. And another example would be doll making. I like watching people make dolls. It's very fun. But I still bring things into my art and the things that I do make based on some of those. Music, I think, still probably a little bit more subconscious. But one thing that I have found that actually helps a lot with my drawing is trying to picture the background music of the picture. So yes, I still do bring music into my drawing. And with doll making, a lot of that is a lot of like fashionistas that like to make clothes. And, you know, I like drawing clothes, so I like it a lot. And so I look at their designs and I try to figure out what I like and what I don't, and they also tend to bring in a little bit more of a fashion angle into their character design. And I find that useful. I think it has helped my character design quite a bit, actually. And you know, sometimes I'm just walking down the street, and I see something that looks cool. I ask myself, why do I think this looks cool? Why is it good? And, you know, such things will help my art as well. So, I am of the belief that anything can be analyzed, and no matter what you learn, you can use it to learn something else. So, I think part of making good art is going out there, trying things, and experiencing everything that's out there. There was a period of my life where I just kind of wanted to lock myself in my room and not do anything. But I do think that it is bad for everything that you want to make. You gotta go out there and you gotta see things and you gotta experience things. And you gotta feel things. Don't numb your emotions. It's also very bad, especially since, you know, most creative expression is about expressing something, a feeling, an idea. You can't do that if you're suppressing your feelings, if you're suppressing your ability to live life. You just gotta go out and deal with it. So if you want to get good, think about everything you're doing. Think about everything you see, everything you hear. Think about everything you know, and learn new things. And even when you're just playing around, think about while you're having fun. Think about why you like this. I read a lot of comics right now because it's easier to sit down and read stuff while I'm watching my kids. It's like the main reprieve I allow myself to have. But I'm still thinking very critically about the story, how it was put together, what the elements are, how things are foreshadowed, how the world is put together. Everything. Why I like it, why I don't. Sometimes I even read bad things. With the ease of publishing comics online now, I do read a lot of bad comics. But, the world is interesting. You gotta see it. I think that's kind of the gist of what I got there, so I hope I provided some specifics on what you can do to analyze the media that you're looking at here. So just, you know, talking about the game here and what I was thinking about while playing it and all that kind of thing. And how I approach art in general. I guess I can talk a little bit about why I like Metroidvania specifically here. In that, honestly, I don't think it's that deep. I just like exploring. I like exploring. I just casually punching the microphone. Don't worry about it. I talk with my hands, okay? If there's anything that has convinced me to try to get hand tracking or 3D models, it's so this way I can wave my hands around. But you know, I think the integrity of my microphone appreciates that I try to keep my arms down at my side here and not just, you know, punch it repeatedly. But yeah, I really don't think the reason I like Metroidvanias is that deep. I just like exploring. So I've always liked, you know, dungeon crawlers. I like Zelda. I like JRPGs. I like just derping around and seeing what's out there, going to new places, being immersed in new worlds. I think it's a good time. That's probably why I tangented into how to do art, because frankly, there's honestly not much to talk about here. And I do think my favorites always rely a little bit more on environmental storytelling. This one was a bit lighter on that. This one made up for it in raw, fun movement. It's not like there was none. And the backgrounds are gorgeous, like it's a very, very pretty game. But I don't really necessarily feel like I learned a lot about the world by looking at it. Or the kinds of areas that were there. I mean, we have a death factory, we have a toxic waste dump. I guess they're probably going for an environmental message there, but it's not very strong. I guess. But when there's one Metroidvania experience that I always come back to, and it's Hollow Knight, and I just remember my husband and I played it together, and we did early Deep Nest. So Deep Nest is one of I still think that our way through there was like the most optimal it could be. We went up into the Crystal Caves and got the Dream Nail early, and then immediately went for Deep Nest. And Deep Nest is super oppressive. If you've never played Hollow Knight, that's all you gotta know. It's super oppressive. The tunnels are tight. It's very dark. Everything is windy. It's hard to know where to go. Oh, hello there, Blood Bullet. We finished it. I've been rambling about game design for like an hour and a half, and it's been great. Anyway, I was talking about Hollow Knight, so I'm just gonna kind of continue where I left off there. Give me just a moment. I am open to questions, but this was like one of my favorite gaming experiences, so let me finish up the story. But yeah, the tunnels are super tight and winding. It's dark, and there are just these unpleasant crunching noises everywhere, and everything about it is super, super unpleasant. And then we went through, and we got to the one of the dreamers, the dreamer in deepness, and we were able to go do the thing there. And then we went down into the basin, and we went up into the City of Tears through the sewer tunnel there. So everything, you know, down there, still dark, still fairly oppressive. And then it just opens up into the City of Tears with this light, fluffy music. Everything is open, everything is blue, everything is just so pretty. And it's like the exact opposite of everything that we had just gone through. That is the kind of experience that I always live for in Metroidvanias. Just the contrast, the things that can make things just look so beautiful. And you can kind of guide people to experience these things if you try hard enough with your game design. It's a little bit hard with Metroidvanias if you want it to be non-linear, but you can make your players experience those kinds of feelings if you design things well. And it's beautiful, man. That's just always one of those things that I think that moment will always stick with me, just forever and ever. Dude, I legit, I will never forget. But one of my favorite moments in gaming ever. Early deepness is the only way to go. Don't wuss out and, like, go to the fungal waste or these other easy areas. Go fight the Mantis Lords with no nail upgrades and then... go sift through the oppression and open up into this beautiful, beautiful place. Oh, I loved it so much. But those are the kind of moments of exploration that just make me really love Metroidvanias. There are a few games that are able to do that. None quite as well as that. There was something magical about my first playthrough of Hollow Knight. And I'd say ultimately, that's why I like them a lot. Just being able to go run around, discover things, and no other game genre does it quite like the Metroidvania. Some come close. I don't think open world games do it nearly as well either. I'm just thinking in terms of like Subnautica, because their main problem and what makes me not. I mean, I like. Don't get me wrong. I like them a lot. When they're done well. I do like just being able to run around and derp around, and I can have a very good time with them. But the thing with exploration is that when you go out and explore... Oh, hello there, Bunny Bits. Yeah, but when you go out and explore, you have to actually be able to find something new and interesting. The scenery will only keep your interest for so long. And one thing that Metroidvanias do very well is that, you know, you're constantly getting stronger, you're finding new power-ups, and it's not only the scenery that's exciting you, it's what making you wonder what's around the next turn. It's knowing that at some point you're gonna find something that's gonna let you go to even more places, and that there's probably gonna be really cool things to find out there that are gonna let you do even more things, and it feels really good. I don't know, for whatever reason, the open world game coming to mind is like Genshin Impact. And when I explore in that game, I know all I'm gonna find is things to level up waifus. I'm not really gonna be able to do anything new and exciting. Therefore, running around is a little bit less exciting. And that's kind of the difference for me. Most of the big open world games kind of feel that way to me. It's nothing like finding a double jump. Or a grappling hook. Or any of those things that just let you do a bunch of cool new stuff. So that's kind of what makes me like the Metroidvania as a genre more. I've heard that game is extremely Chinese, for better or worse. I wouldn't say I know very much about it, but I've heard a couple of people talking about it. Probably fits my definition of extremely Chinese, in that they took something and then made it big. And considering that what they took was an open world game, I'm a little bit afraid. Also wuxia, so... Wuxia's. Wuxia's its own thing, man. But alright, that's all I really plan to talk about today. So, I guess we could always just do standard yap for the last 30 minutes if you want, and... I don't know, I got a cute little guy here and he's cute, and I love the music of this game. That's why I've just been sitting here, letting the music play. After doing my movement demonstration. Oh, I do really love games though. I like them a lot. I definitely have some genres that I'm less into than others. You know, that's actually another funny gaming story. This is how I discovered I do not like first-person shooters. Or shooting games in general, for that matter. For whatever reason, I just don't like clicking on heads gameplay. Couldn't tell you why. It's just not my taste. But, I played the original BioShock. It was beautiful. It had wonderful environmental storytelling. But every time I played it, the part of the gameplay that I looked most forward to was the hacking minigame. Every single time. I just like, oh man! I get to do the snake! Let's go! That's when I realized, you know what? I probably don't like shooting gameplay. I ended up not being able to finish, but I did watch my husband play it many years later, and I had a lot more fun. Because then I could focus on all the things that I like, instead of through the kind of oppressive shooting gameplay that I just was not a fan of. And I'm under the impression that BioShock, the original, did it decently. So, that's how I realized I just don't like shooting. Yeah, I've seen screenshots of it. It looks pretty. I'm not sure if it'd be a game that I'd enjoy. This is also why I haven't, you know, played like any FromSoft game. I'm not sure if I'd like it. It's not shooting, but it's kinda... you know, very heavily combat focused and also 3D. So... I also just haven't really been playing a lot of modern games in general. If they have a budget, I probably don't like it. So, that's not true. I enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3, but it's still a funny joke to make. But in general, I have just been preferring the indie stuff. And I don't think my reason for liking Baldur's Gate 3 was nostalgia, because I did play the originals when I was a tiny human. But, I guess I wasn't that tiny when I played them, but... I did indeed play them to death. I went through so many different routes to experiment with different party member conversations, or combinations to get conversations. So, but I don't think my reason for liking it was entirely... based on nostalgia, though it helped. It helped. God, I think that Baldur's Gate 3 and like Factorio are probably the most well-known games I've played in a while. Probably the most well-known games I've played in a while. I guess Ender Lilies was reasonably popular. I did see a lot of VTubers playing Ender Magnolia. So I don't know, man. But I swear, most of the games I play are at least like 10 years old. Well, it's alright. I'm certainly happy to keep talking about the design of the genres I enjoy. I'm just always afraid of, going into some of the more modern ones, knowing, especially some of the higher budget ones that are more popular. So, like, I remember trying to play The Witcher, and I struggled to get into it. Granted, it wasn't The Witcher 3, which is the popular one. I'm talking about the original. So maybe I'll try it someday, but, for me, it's always rough playing a well-beloved game and then just not feeling it. It did. Look, man, when you're me and your space itself, like, there's actually no difference between space and time. You know, that's why they call it space-time. So I can move through the fourth dimension as I please. I just have no depth perception, so I just kind of end up places. Don't worry about it. I figure I'll get to where I'm going eventually. And frankly, each era kind of has its own nice little things. And no, I will not tell you the winning lottery numbers. That's cheating. You gotta enjoy what's out there. No. Experience all your embarrassing moments. Feel it! Feel it with the intensity. You must experience life to make anything worthwhile. You know, I just did an entire rant on that. If you ever want to watch the VOD, I talked about that in detail, actually. Trust me, your embarrassing moments will help you. They will help you so much. They will help you make the best things ever. And besides, I unironically think that people want to experience all their emotions. Even the bad ones. Even the bad ones. You know, sometimes especially the bad ones, because, I mean, just look at Twitter. Just look at the cesspool of anger that place is. Being angry feels so good. And if we didn't want to feel sad, we would never watch tragedies. We would never watch fictional people be sad. We would not like watching VTubers play that one dog game that's really popular lately. That always makes them cry. We want to be sad. And I mean, look, I'm here, being a glorified street performer / clown on the internet. And maybe I'm a little bit more chill than, like, the class clown and loud types of people being clowns on the internet. But trust me, I think VTubing is very cringe. And I love it. I love being cringe. It's wonderful. It's like the best thing. So, I am of the opinion that people want to be embarrassed too. Otherwise, we wouldn't be out here embarrassing ourselves every day. Playing video games badly. Drawing stuff and letting you see my rough drafts. Look, if you ever see the first episode of a new drawing stream, everything looks so bad. And I am dying on the inside every second of it. But it feels so good. So truly, I think people want to feel embarrassed sometimes too. It feels good. Being embarrassed and then still being accepted afterward. It's wonderful. You guys keep coming back to my drawing streams even when I don't like what things look like. It's great. So no, I don't think any feeling should be suppressed. Ever. maybe you have to do it temporarily in order to get through a situation, because, I mean, you know, maybe breaking down crying in the middle of an important weekend, or meeting, because you feel bad about something, maybe not the best way to do it. But, you know, and when the meeting is done, you can go to the bathroom and bawl your eyes out, and it's fine. So, that is my opinion on feelings. Embrace your feelings. Embrace it. It's okay to feel sad. Sometimes it can even feel good. And it will definitely help you with your art if you want to do art. It will. Because after all, pretty much any form of art, even the non-visual kinds, any form of creative pursuit is largely about expressing something. An idea, a feeling, any of those kinds of things. And the more you feel and the more you experience life, the more you'll be able to express and the more you'll understand. Look, I'm just saying. Have you seen a 14-year-old Fujoshi try to express what gay romance is like? They don't do it very well. Because they haven't experienced it. They haven't experienced romance. They're not men. They don't know any of these things. But a 25-year-old that has experienced love, even if they have experienced breakups with it, will be able to write a much more convincing romance. I am not a 14-year-old Fujoshi, I assure you. I just bring up that because I had friends that were. You know, back when I was 14, I knew some seriously hardcore Fujoshi. Reading their depictions of romance was something else, I tell you. But it's very true. If you read a lot of bad fanfiction, their ability to depict romance tends to be especially bad if they're quite young and have never experienced real romance. It can be very wholesome to read, though. And it's okay. I don't mind getting a good noodle points removed for speaking the truth. Or using the most obvious example of very cringe writing that I could think of. Excellent. Oh man. Dude, I love art. No matter what it is, it's wonderful. Oh man, I always wish that I had more time to engage with it more. But I have kind of reached the point in my life where I'm more interested in making stuff than I am reading stuff or, you know, playing stuff or, any of that. Looking at other people's art. So, it takes time. And thus I do not have time for other things. This is why I'm always like, opportunity cost is my worst nightmare. Having limited time is my worst nightmare. I gotta work on my depth perception through the fourth dimension. So this way I know where to put myself. And maybe I can get more done. But as it stands, I'm a little afraid to move more than 1 second into the future at a time anymore. So, or less than that for that matter. So, yeah. Absolutely my worst nightmare. And so I'm just like, you know, I got 24 hours. I got... That's what I got. And... I can't just... undo that without potentially... shooting myself where I don't want to go. So, time is limited, and I hate it. I hate it. I want to do all the things, but I can't do all the things. I hate it so much. I have to choose. I have to make the choice. I can't do... I cannot 100% real life. It is not possible. There's too many collectibles. There's too many skills. There's too much stuff. They made it too big. They made it too big. Now it's impossible. God is the most sociopathic game developer. Oh no, I'm not worried about procrastination anymore. I dealt with that a long time ago. Now it's just there's too much stuff. I say as I just fidget by wall jumping in this little corner repeatedly. Oh yeah, I guess I can tell you how I solved procrastination. So, how you solve procrastination? Give yourself enough existential dread and think about mortality on a regular basis, and your urge to procrastinate will go down considerably. Because time ticks forward no matter what you do. It will never stop. Even now as you watch me, you are moving into the future 1 second at a time. And you will have less time to do all the things you want to do, because you are watching an anime girl talk about existential dread and mortality and time ticking forward 1 second at a time. So truly, if you'll remember this, and remember that someday you're gonna die, and all that will be left is what you left into the world, and use that as an excuse to go do all the things that you want to do, I will be honored. Ah, man, my nose is running. By the way, while we're talking about emotions, I think anxiety is useful. Never forget. Never forget that you will die. It is inevitable. And hopefully, you know, remembering that will make you want to do stuff. It's working for me. Well, good luck with that. So do a lot of people. All right, let me... I don't know. You know, of all the places to stop and mess around, this one's not so bad. Because... I don't know. The art in this game is pretty good. And I do just like looking at that little sun in the back there. It's really nice. I like jumping up and watching it come up with me. I think it's a pretty good time. And you know, Sheepo's a pretty good climber for someone that doesn't have arms. yeah, so I guess next time, I already put it on my schedule because I was pretty sure I was going to finish this game today, but next game is going to be Ender Magnolia, finally. I've been wanting to... I played Ender Lilies a while back, and I liked it a lot. It was really hard, though, and I was in a state where I'm just like, oh my god, life is too hard. I need some simpler games to kind of cool down, because I've been playing too many hard games lately. But now, you know what? I'm feeling better, so I'm ready to break my face on this game. I am looking forward to it. Let's go bring in some more dark fantasy after playing such a nice upbeat game here. You know, they said that this was a dying world, but it never felt very dying to me. The worst I got is a toxic waste dump. And I mean, even without human intervention, I think some places on Earth were just destined to be a toxic waste dump, so I just don't see it as a sign of doom. It's like, have you seen the ocean and how many bottom feeders there are? The ecosystem needs its toxic waste dumps. They're important. So yeah, I'll be starting that next time, and of course tomorrow, if I'm lucky, maybe I will finish drawing Malice, and then I can start a new thing on Sunday. We'll see. That style is still a little bit hard for me, so I still work a little bit slower than usual, which is saying something for me, because I do draw pretty slowly. And I also think I'm on track to finish my painting of Pipkin Pippa, which I'm very, very excited about. So you know what? I am just finishing all the things this week. This week is a good week so far. But we'll see if it pans out the way I expect. But I think I'm pretty close on all of those things. So, you know what? Sometimes I can be a little bit sad to finish something, because you know, then it's done. And it's just time to move on to the next thing. But that's okay, because it means that we'll get some shiny new experiences to look at. Do some shiny new things. Figure some new things out and experience some new things. Just like when I'm saying that, you know, all of our emotions are a good thing, sometimes I think death is a good thing too. Because then, with a definitive end, you can start a new thing. So there you go. Alright, well, I think it's about time for me to go. But it was nice talking about game design. It was nice chatting with all of you today. Tomorrow, more drawing. And you know what? I think it is actually easier for me to talk while drawing than it is while gaming, so even though I always start rambling about what I'm doing while I'm drawing, that's just because I'm used to... I got used to early on streaming to 0 viewers, but always happy to chat about stuff. So, feel free to talk about whatever you want. But regardless, I'll stop here for today. So thank you all for coming. And I still hope you're able to make something wonderful today. You know, go out and do that thing. Go out and finish something. Go out and start something new. It'll be great. And I also want to remind everyone that this game was made by one person. I think he got someone to help with the music, but that was it. And a little bit of quality assurance. But that was it. So never forget these things. You know what? If you practice, you can make art, you can make games, you can do whatever you want. Do your best. Go out and make something wonderful today, or at least get started. Take the first step. I'll see you all tomorrow.